Hi, my name's Leighton Jen. I'm the Director of Development for the American Documentary and Animation Film Festival, and we're talking to some more fantastic Medill School students. We got Claire Kim, Jiah Choe, and Justine Fisher, and they all work together on a film Defying The Odds. Can one of you go ahead and describe the movie for us?
Yeah, I can describe the movie. Basically, we are following the story of Benard McKinley, who is the first to take the LSAT while incarcerated, and now he is a first-year law student at Northwestern Pritzker School of Law. And yeah, so we kind of share his story, what he went through, and how he decided to become a lawyer and to attend law school.
And I can
Now, how
add,
did you go
sorry.
ahead?
Oh, I was just going to add that part of that story was talking to his friends and family. So just wanted to add that.
How did you guys come across him? I know you guys, as part of the class, you guys all went into the prison. How did you guys stumble across him, and then how did you decide that he would be the one you would do your project on?
Our
I'll let you
class
take that,
wasn't the
Claire.
oh yeah, I'll take this one. So our class wasn't the class that we went into prison. It was just it's a general documentary class, but we knew the program called Northwestern Prison Education Program, and Bernard was part of it. So we kind of got in touch with the program through the help of Professor Huffman. So we didn't really go into the Stateville Correctional Center because Bernard was released after. So it was mostly like on his personal life, his meeting his families and friends, and just illustrating his daily life.
And for each one of you, what going through and making this documentary, what did you kind of learn about the prison system? Because I think it's one thing we all read about it, we hear about it, but you guys actually, got to talk to someone who's intimately involved and go through it. What do you guys come away after doing this documentary? What do you guys come away thinking about our legal system?
I think the first thing that comes to mind for me is, as we were talking to Bernard, we kind of learned that his initial sentence was 100 years. And so I think that was just something that really shocked me. And he was able to kind of, work with the resources he had to appeal and get that brought down. But just thinking about the idea of someone who is convicted for something that they did when they were, if I'm remembering correctly, 16 years old. He's under 18 when it starts, and all of his adulthood is expected to play out in prison, and it kind of, destroys a future that he showed he did have. And so to um, just, seeing how the prison system obviously works to sort of squash that potential and how hard someone has to work to overcome it, I think was a big takeaway.
Gia,
I
what
think
was your take? Or Claire? Go ahead, Claire. Sorry.
I was sorry about that. I think for me, I was able to kind of highlight the power of education within the carceral system, like how transformative education could be, and just how power of opportunities even within the carceral system is important because Bernard really also mentions in his documentary that kind of education kind of reshaped him as a person. So I think providing this opportunity within the behind the bars, how important that can be. So I was able to kind of get a grip of that as well.
And now Gia.
Yeah. Yeah, I was also gonna talk about the role of education, but also Bernard just really talked to us about how his family and also the people that he met through the prison education program were really part of what motivated him further to really pursue that education because the conditions that they're in, even through the Northwestern Prison Education Program, aren't ideal, aren't even close to ideal, and just being able to be there for each other and having those resources and those professors and students to talk to, I think was a really big source of encouragement for him. So it was really fascinating and really cool to hear about his experiences.
Well, this is such a great program, great idea. The first guy I've talked to for this year was, of course, your professor, Brett Huffman. Can you guys talk to me about working with Brett and what you guys have learned from him and how he might have helped you through whether it's this project or maybe a different project or assignment?
I think one of the first things that comes to mind for me is just how hard he pushed us to get really good footage, even though it was, sometimes difficult to get the kind of access, I guess, that makes a good documentary, to sort of, especially because we're working in like a 10-week time frame to convince someone to trust you to meet their family and like, go inside their house and see what their life is like. Um, that was really, I think it kind of an obstacle for us at first, but um, you know, Bren really helped us like have the confidence to do that and also to see how it would really pay off in the final cut.
Anything anyone else would like to add about Brett?
Um, I think for me, so kind of adding on to Justine, he really kind of let us learn about the importance of this kind of like world building about around like Bernard, because I think Bernard he had like his had like a media exposure a couple of times before this documentary, so he was on headlines, he was in newscasts, and I think he really accentuated the importance of how taking Bernard out of this bubble of this title of NPAP graduate who went into Northwestern law and kind of visualizing his personal life, which could and how that's going to make our documentary so powerful. And I think just by kind of experiencing, following him around his daily life, kind of made us actually feel that important lesson that he taught us. And I'm just really glad that we got able to kind of get this family in touch and just film them on camera.
Anything you want to add, Gia?
I would just say the same thing. I think really like in the beginning of the quarter, things that we thought were impossible or just too much, like we would be scared to ask Bernard, for example, for certain questions or certain interviews with his family members. But Brent just kept on pushing us. He was like, you have to get this source, you have to get this scene. And because of that, I think we were really able to get a lot of good shots and good interviews. So definitely it was quite a process, but at the end of it, it was all worth it.
So you're all journalism students. Two-part question. What kind of journalism do you want to pursue? And did taking this class, did that change maybe the trajectory of what you want to do with your career?
I guess I can start that for me, I think it really changed a lot because I hadn't done any kind of, other than like the 101 class, I hadn't done really any video journalism or worked on a documentary or like any sort of long form video. But it was a really great experience. And I think a really different kind of reporting than like print reporting, which is print or digital reporting, which is kind of the path that I more so was on before. So yeah, I think it definitely changed things for me where I'm a lot more open-minded to that medium and I recognize how powerful like visuals can be.
Mhm. For Claire, we'll go the normal order.
Yeah, so I was interested in video journalism since sophomore year, but I was never able to kind of experience a documentary filmmaking before this class, and it really did change a lot for me too. I think it made me kind of lead the way for me. I'm interning at a documentary studio right now at New York, and it really kind of this documentary class that I was in kind of became like a stepping stone for it. And I do want to kind of pursue documentary filming after I graduate as well. And it really kind of made me believe how powerful people's story can be and like visually kind of filming the story can be so like meaningful and important.
And last but not least,
Yeah, I think for me too, I did a bit of video journalism, but it was more short form. I think the longest video I've done was probably like 3, 4 minutes. Um, but really doing documentary journalism and being so close to your subject for such a longer period of time, I think that's really, you just learn so much more from that. And you also build that sense of trust with your sources. Through that continued interest and continued connection. And I think that's something really inspiring about documentary journalism. So that's definitely something that I'm interested in pursuing further in the future as well.
and then I come from a different generation. I was a journalist too, not as bright as you guys. I couldn't get into a school like Northwestern. But what do you, how do you see the role of journalism today? Because obviously the climate's changed a little bit. And then what kind of role do you see documentaries playing in that? And we'll go by the same order if you want. We'll let Justine start.
Sure, I guess thinking about like my Medill education, I suppose, because my sense of, I guess, what journalism used to be mostly comes from those kinds of courses. Obviously, I think there's things that haven't changed, and I think like centering people's stories and thinking about being accurate and balanced is all something that goes into journalism now and what we do. Um, I guess I think what has changed in terms of like the political climate, what comes to mind is just the importance of telling these kinds of stories of like, underdog stories and stories that kind of humanize issues that people might otherwise not be thinking about. I think today it's, more important than ever to be thinking about, um, you know, incarcerated people that would otherwise, that, it's kind of easy for people in the mainstream to not think about. It's sort of designed to be that way, but raising their voices in whatever way you can, because obviously we know from this experience that, Benard had so much to tell and his story like speaks to so many people's experiences, even if, it's an extraordinary story that, most people can't relate to, but you still can kind of see aspects like when he goes to take his nieces to get ice cream, like you can see sort of aspects of yourself in him. And I think that's important now, in a role that journalism should be playing now more than ever.
Just following off of Justine, I agree with her every part, and I think throughout my journalism journey at Medill, I was also kind of taught to be how to be objective and how to be accurate in all type of stories that I produce, and which is also very important. But I think through this documentary class, I also kind of learned the importance of how like human stories can be and kind of amplifying these kind of human stories can be as well. So I think more than just like broadcasting and like reporting like what's there, but I think just kind of pulling out stories that would otherwise not be at the mainstream media and kind of amplifying one's voice, like just like Bernard's story is very important. I think that should be another role of journalism of how to bring out human stories and kind of amplifying the power of like human stories as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think what's really special but also hard about journalism is that it's such a changing, shifting field, and especially now, it's not the traditional news sources that used to build a strong reputation like in the past. Those aren't the only sources that people have, and there are just so many different sources from social media to just like everywhere. And I think because of that, the role of journalists is even more important, and also what it means to tell the truth, but also to tell a story, being able to balance that and being able to, um, yeah, just being able to realize kind of your role as like a medium almost from people to like the public. And so, yeah.
And then will you guys, all three of you, be in Palm Springs?
I will be. I'm excited.
Nice.
I don't think I'll be
There,
able
Jiah.
to be I don't think I'll be able to be in person, but I'll just keep everything up for through Justine. Yeah. Just for schedule wise,
Yeah,
I
same
couldn't make
here.
it.
Well, we're looking forward to watching your film and looking forward to another great program from Medill. Brent does such a fantastic job, and all the students have done great stories. We expect nothing less than the best from you guys. Thank you so much for speaking to me today. We look forward to seeing your films. And just remind everyone, the American Documentary and Animation Film Festival is March 27th through 31st at the Palm Springs Cultural Center. Tickets are on sale now at www.amdocsfilmfest.com. And I believe Sunday is the Medill program. I think it's Sunday at 4 o'clock. Double check our website just in case, but I'm pretty sure that's when it is. Uh, Thank you guys so much for taking the time out to talk about your film, about this inspiring individual, and we look forward to watching it. Thank you guys so much, and we look forward to following your careers.
Awesome.
Thank
Well, thank
you.
you. And I'll see you
Thank
in Palm
you.
Springs.
You'll have a fun time in Palm Springs. A lot of fun. It'll be your prep for Coachella.
Yeah.
Again, thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye.